Hi, it's Jackie Tantillo, host of Should Have Listened to My Mother podcast. Are you who you are today because of or in spite of your mother? I've come to understand and appreciate the significant role that mothers play in our lives. Not everyone was best suited to become a mom, but by sharing these personal experiences, we come to realize how much we have in common with each other. With over 4 decades of broadcast experience, interviewing iconic musicians, award-winning authors and journalists, entrepreneurs, artists, and more, these personal one-on-one conversations really get to the heart of the matter, to explore the essence of how, who, and why we became who we are today. I can't wait for you to hear this next episode. My guest advice for people entering the workforce is to show up for yourself and push beyond limitations because it encourages others to do the same. Dr. Kamille Richardson is an entrepreneur, motivational speaker, author, and founder and CEO of iSEE Technologies, where they offer assistive technology training for the blind and visually impaired, and so much more. She's an advocate for inclusion. She calls herself an inclusion warrior, and I love that. Kamille was born blind. She says she never had limitations placed on herself. She always felt encouraged and was challenged to expand and grow and to be confident in everything she did. Dr. Richardson joined her siblings in all kinds of activities. Her mother, known as Miss Jackie, was her biggest cheerleader and advocate and passed away in 2021. Yet she's always encouraged Kamille to navigate life independently, including becoming the first blind athlete in Cumberland County, North Carolina, where Kamille Richardson is joining us now. Hello, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you doing this morning, Jackie?
It's
Which is my mom's
wonderful.
name.
Yeah, Miss Jackie, I like it. I like it. So you are a whole bunch of things, and I know that we will be talking on those, the motivational work that you do, and just everything kind of that encompasses who you are. But I want to go back to the beginning, to your mom, Jackie, because that's what the show is about. But that's why we've got you on the show, because I know that you have some pretty significant messages that a lot of people could benefit from hearing.
Sure. So, like you said, I was born totally blind. And really, my mom knew from the time I was born there was something different about my eyes, but they really didn't get it diagnosed until I was about 6 months old. But she always knew, mother's intuition, right? It's always
Right.
there.
Yeah.
And people just told her I had lazy eyes, and her eyes will start focusing. She just wait till she gets a little older. Some children develop a little slower than others, and all of that. But she just knew, so she took me from doctor to doctor until she finally found one when I was about 6 months old, who was like, "Yeah, she's blind."
Wow.
Yes. So, again, she was already being my voice and my advocate from a very young age, from when I was a baby.
That's got to be. Did you ever have the conversation with her about what the emotional response was when she knew that she was right, when she was spot on, she needed it confirmed? Was it a relief? What kind of emotions did she, experience
Well,
with the idea?
well, my mom, she was a stoic. She was one of those ones. She was very practical when it came to stuff like that. I mean, I asked her when I was an adult, like, how did you feel? What did you think about when you found out your child is blind? And she said, well, I was sad, of course. That's natural. But then I realized that you had to learn how to live in this world as somebody who couldn't see. So I had to get down to the business of teaching you how to live. And that's just how
Wow.
she was.
About everything.
Yes.
Business is business, practicality. We got to keep moving forward. But that's
Yes.
pretty amazing.
Yes.
Wow.
And mind you, this is back in the 80s. So there was no internet. There were no online social media forums for parents of blind children. There was none of that. So she literally was just going off of her intuition. She was just going off of what she thought, and she paid attention to me. And I'm the youngest. I have a sister and a brother. And she said a lot of times she would let them lead the way and how to interact with me. Because, with kids, and we're all
It's-
really close in age, they just want to play. So
yeah,
she's just
yeah.
like, I let them play and I let you go down there and I let them play. And y'all had a good time. And I just followed their lead. They didn't treat you any different. Neither did I.
Wow, that's pretty great. Because
Hmm.
often one would have a tendency as the parent to be so protective and nervous. Oh, they're going to fall, or they're going to walk into the wall, and then I'm sure you did plenty of that.
I did plenty of
You'll need to
that,
laugh.
but I think it was more because that was more me getting out there and exploring. Because sometimes again, from a very early age, you got to let your child fall and hit their head.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying there weren't times that she didn't just let me do it on purpose. She would move obstacles out of my way if she could, but of course, not being able to literally see things in my path, it was going to happen, and I would get back up and keep moving.
wow. I'm sure there are funny stories of of your you and your siblings perhaps interacting with other children or other people that may not that didn't know that you were blind. I mean,
Hmm.
would they have you do silly things to shock people or embarrass people?
Not say, you know what? No, not really. They thankfully they were not that way.
Uh-huh.
Again, when I was growing up, I used to play with the kids in the neighborhood just like everybody else. Again, my mom, followed their lead when it came to that and followed my lead. I mean, I climbed trees, I got dirty. I was out there, in the woods with all of them exploring and everything. And again, it even trickled down to the kids in the neighborhood. Children really are carefree. They just want to play. And then, it's like, oh, well, she's blind. Oh, okay. And they would figure out how to help me.
Right.
And I would teach them how to help me. I mean, there were some who would be like, well, how can you do this? Because you're blind. But, adults do that now. So,
Absolutely. I think it's um you want to help, or you
yes.
don't understand how powerful and how much you can actually see with your using your other senses, right?
Oh,
So we're all
yes.
automatically like, oh my god, they may not see that door coming up, or
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable. It's a little bit of being uncomfortable or unsure when you're with
Right.
someone with disabilities.
Right, right, right. And me, I was just, again, a carefree child. I was just running around playing with everybody else. So I knew that I couldn't see,
That
like,
you
and it
were.
wasn't like a thing. My mom never made it a thing. Like, your sister can't see, so you have to look out for her. It was just my sister, especially, she and I are very, very, very close. We're only 10 and a half months apart. So we shared a room from the time we were born till the time we graduated high school. So she and my mother both know me on an intuitive level. So it's like nobody had to tell her, look out for your sister. She just kind of did.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty great. And I did read that you and your sister are very, very close. 10 months apart. Holy smokes.
Yep. We're twins for 6 weeks.
Yeah. Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, that's so much fun. That's wonderful.
Oh,
So when it came to then progressing into school and navigating all of that, that's another whole challenge. Did Jackie ever have to go and reprimand either a teacher or anyone to say, you do not treat my daughter any differently just because she's blind?
well, I wouldn't say she necessarily reprimanded, but what she would do is go in at the beginning of the year and, have a conversation. She would find out who all my teachers are. And throughout my elementary, I went to the same elementary the whole time. So she didn't
Mm.
really have to do a whole lot of this. It was more so in middle and high school. But by then, I was also learning how to advocate for myself. But she was my voice. She would go in, like I said, and let them know about me, let them know what I might need, but she was more so that parent that showed up to the school. She was the classroom mom. She would come and
Mm.
have lunch at the school with me. And she did this for my sister and brother too. But, she was that mother for everybody. She would just show up. That's what she did. She didn't have to go reprimand everybody because they knew who she was. They knew that she didn't play about me.
That's so wonderful. That is really
Yes.
fantastic. She didn't put the spotlight on you, made you different or stand out, or that you needed extra TLC.
Absolutely not. Oh no, she did not do that. That was not her style. that's just not what she did. And like I said again, it was the 1980s. And she actually began building this foundation when I was in preschool, because back then, where my hometown of Fayetteville, North Carolina, where I grew up, there were no preschools that could accommodate me and my needs, as far as early intervention was concerned. So again, following her intuition, she created one. She created a preschool for me, but not just for me. She wanted to make sure that all blind children had access to early intervention. So she went out and met some teachers who worked with a teacher who worked with visually impaired students, and they worked together and built the Center for the Blind. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was a preschool called the Center for the Blind.
I have the chills, and I know you can't see my face, but my smile is ear to ear. I
Mhm.
just, when you started telling that story, I just said, Jackie started a school.
She sure did. She sure did. She was a pioneer. She was a
Oh
trailblazer. That's just
my
what my mother
God.
did.
Where did she grow up and what was her background? Did she have any higher education? Did she work?
My mother grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina,
Mhm.
born and raised. She did go to college. She went to North Carolina Central. She majored in public administration, but when we were coming up, she was at home with us, mainly. She did work as a teacher's assistant in the school that I went to, the elementary school that I went to, but and then later on, she became a CNA. So she was always helping. She's always been a helper. She's always had that servant's heart about her. That's just who she was. So I'm just grateful and blessed that she was able to dedicate so much time to being my advocate and my voice and give me that foundation until I learned how to do it myself, because that was another thing she did. She didn't just speak for me. No, no, no. She had me speaking for myself as a
Yeah.
little girl, you know?
Wow, that's pretty amazing. You had to advocate for yourself back when you were little. So what is a CNA?
A
Certified
certified nursing assistant.
nursing assistant. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah. So I
yes.
thought. So did your siblings, were they ever jealous of you were getting more attention from your mom? Is your father and was your dad
Oh yeah,
in
my dad he was definitely around. He was very engaged. He was a provider. He made sure we had what we needed. You know, yes, my dad was absolutely around. He was at all the sporting events. My sister played sports. She was the athlete of the family. He was at all of her games. Made sure he was there. And
Mhm.
he worked long hours, but he made sure that he was there to see us in whatever activities we were in.
So that it enabled your mom. She had a backup, right? She was
Mm.
able to commit to helping with you. But again,
But
did your
no,
siblings ever get frustrated or
no,
jealous of
never
you?
ever. Never ever
Oh,
ever, because
they did
there
it
was
right.
no there was no focus on me. It wasn't like, well, I have to do this because your sister is blind, because again,
Yeah.
it was seamless. I was in extracurricular activities. I sang in a chorus from elementary school all the way up through the time I graduated from high school. I was singing. I was the manager for the basketball team, so I was the water girl. My sister played basketball. I was a water girl. I was included in everything. Like my mother was my accessibility. She made sure I had access to things. My sister was the one who made sure I was included. So there was no jealousy. There was nothing like that, because it was just like in my family, I was just Meal. I wasn't her blind daughter. I wasn't a blind sister, a blind cousin. I was just Meal. And so everybody adapted things so that I could be a part of it. And it wasn't out of, it wasn't with a like, oh, they weren't upset about it. They weren't jealous of, oh gosh, we got to do this for Meal. It was like, if Meal can't do it, we ain't gonna do it. We're gonna figure out how to do it.
Oh my God. So they used to call you Meal, or they
They
do
still
call
call
you
me
Meal.
Meal.
Oh, I
Yes.
love that. Oh, that's so great. Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
So, okay, back to your mom a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
so she went to college. What was your maternal grandmother like? Are there strong women in your
Oh
lineage?
gosh, yes. All the women in my family are some of the strongest women I know. My grandmother was the backbone of the family. She made sure she was like the one that made sure everybody was connected. Like her house was the house that everybody came to for holidays, or like we would have these. I remember we would have like these big family breakfasts. every now and then, like every couple of months, instead of a Sunday dinner, we would have like this big family breakfast on Saturday. And the night before, when we were kids, was like the night before Christmas, because we knew that
Oh, it was
all of our
so much
cousins were
fun.
going to be there. Yes, it was amazing. Like all of our cousins going to be there. We going to have so much fun. We could not sleep. And it was just amazing. Like my grandma's house. Ooh, the memories in there. Loved it. And she had
What?
this den that was like where everybody came together and had this big old fireplace. So it was always nice and warm in the wintertime. It
Oh
actually
my
got a little hot,
gosh.
but it was so fun.
So what kind of food would be on the table for this breakfast?
Oh my gosh, we'd have pancakes and grits and eggs and bacon and all the
Yeah.
breakfast meats and
Yeah.
all the coffee and the orange juice and anything you could think of for breakfast, it was there. It was so good.
And
Oh,
everyone just talking and sharing
yeah.
stories and keeping
Just
people in check and
playing. And I mean, because
like,
we were children, we just played outside
yeah.
all day. And again, there was no difference. I was not treated any different. Like, it took me a minute to even realize I'm blind because I'm up here just doing what they do. Like, if I climbed a tree and fell out, so be it.
Yeah, that's great. And it's great because I love how it helped you so much. It helped you so much, right? Instead of having these knowing or feeling that you have limitations. That's why I love how your mom handled it. And your whole family for that matter.
Oh, it's
Um,
my entire family. If I said that I wanted to fly a plane, they would say, "Oh,
Yay!
I know a pilot. We'll have you on that plane." I'm like, wait now. I'm blind. You do know that.
Well, that's a good question. What other aspirations as a child did you ever say, I want to be an engineer or I want to be a this or that? Did you have
I wanted
aspirations
to
as a child?
be on the radio. That was
Oh,
my
that's great.
thing.
And you were
I
on the radio. You
I
did work in radio.
was. I did.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, back in the day, for the young children, we had cassette recorders. And so I had my little tape recorder and I recorded everything. Funny story. My mother, I used to always be recording. You never know when I'm recording something. So my mom would come in and she would tell, y'all need to clean this room up, or y'all need to come on and eat. I done told y'all 2 times. I'm not gonna tell you again. And I'm recording, right? So then all of a sudden, a little while later, she'd hear it play back. And she, Meow, can't believe you recorded me. And I would be recording I would have it on fast speed. So it's like, or I would have it really slow and be like, Meow, you need to stop recording. Like, it was just little things that
Gosh.
I did.
Oh, absolutely love every second of this.
Oh yes, I had fun, and I had little shows that I would record. My sister was always my special guest.
Mm.
So yes, I wanted to be in radio. That was my dream. That was a goal. That was who I was going to be. And yes, you couldn't tell me any different.
Because we grew up in a household where the radio was on all the time, and
Mhm.
it really your imagination, because you're not looking at a picture, right? But your imagination, it just flourishes. You envision what the person looks like that's talking, and you see it, even though you
Mhm.
see it in a completely different way. And I love that you were drawn to that, especially because you never had the ability to see. So that was such a reinforcement of who you were. You
Yeah,
learned by listening.
yeah, and also, for us, when I was listening to radio, it was all music by then. So it
Yeah,
wasn't like the programs and stuff on the radio. And
sure.
I am a music lover. Like I used to sleep with the radio on at night. Every night
Mm.
I slept with the radio on. So there was always music around me. Like even now, I am such a lover of music. And fun fact, I'm also the only one in my entire family who can sing. Nobody else can.
So who or what are some of your favorite musical bands?
Well, it's so funny. I'm very different. I do not have like some people are like, oh, I love Beyonce, like that's my girl, I'm a fanatic or whatever. I am not that one. I am the type that I love songs. Like I just love music. So if you got a really good song, I love it. Everything's my song. When it comes up, oh, that is my jam. Because music for me was the soundtrack of my life. Like back in the day, when I was a teenager, again, we had CDs. And my sister says to this day, I don't know how in the world you had all the money, but you had every CD known to man. And I did.
Mm.
I had the first CD player in the house. And so I just, like I said, I love just music in general. I could say, again, I'm not a fanatic. I don't have a favorite artist per se.
Mhm.
Like
You
that's just
love it
not.
all. You
I
love
love it
music. I love
all
music.
genres, all like, I'm an old school R&B girl, but I love all genres. Like if you look at my Spotify playlist right now, you will find 80s hair band music in there. You'll find anything in there.
Well, that's a great idea. Share your Spotify music playlist.
Oh, listen,
So wait, I was just so wait a minute. Where did you get the money? Did you ever work as a
well,
young teen, or
I
did you
saved my
save?
lunch money and stuff like that. I really couldn't tell you because
Great.
we weren't, we didn't roll in the dough or anything. I just would save my lunch money or, we got a little money for going out or whatever have you. I did
And
not
you
work as a
savor.
teacher.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty great. So
right.
you mentioned something interesting about you never had any limitations
Mhm.
as a child, because I know there was a transition then,
Oh,
because
yeah.
it, in the workforce,
Ooh.
you probably had that similar attitude on this is the way it's going to be, right? All doors are
Mhm.
open for me because I'm who I am. But
Mhm.
the reality of things changed when you were looking for work. I know you're a massage therapist and you
Oh,
did a number
yeah.
of other things, but on the surface, you would present well. But then when they met you, you encountered different situations.
Yes, I came from such a supported family and, again, living a life of no limitations, which still can exist. But as you get older and you get out into this real world, you realize it's a cold world out there. And
Yeah.
people see the blindness first. And what I mean by that is I would look good on a resume. Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
Kamille, we'd love to have you in for an interview. And I come in, they see me, they see that white cane in my hand. That temperature would drop about 20 degrees. And it would start out, those conversations, they were all warm, and then it would turn real cold and it'd be kind of end with that whole, don't call us, we'll call you. But the calls and the emails would never come. And, I was very determined. I was not going to give up because, again, straight out of college, like I said, I wanted to do radio. But again, you need a way to make some money first. You got to make your little money.
Sure.
So I'm going on all of these interviews, sending in resumes at all kinds of places. And I would just get that whole cold shoulder. And it started to really wear on me. It really started to affect my self-esteem because here I am living life with no limitations. But then I started to feel it. I started to feel like, well, what can I do? My only goal at that time, being in my early 20s, was to live on my own, just like everybody else. I want to be independent. I want to have my own place, pay my own bills. So after months of all that soul crushing rejection I dealt with, I did decide that I was going to do a whole 180. And I was going to become a massage therapist because I had a friend who was blind. She was a massage therapist. She was doing great. So I went back to school because I'd already had my degree from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. I went back to school for massage and passed that test, got my license, and immediately I started working as a massage therapist. I got a job probably about 3 months. No, not even that. I think it was probably like the month after I passed my license exam and got my license. I became a
Mhm.
massage therapist because they were only concerned with my skills. They said,
That's so unfortunate because they were missing out. So many businesses missed out on you because you're quite the package.
"Well,
You
thank
are
you."
brilliant, you're charismatic, you're sensitive. My goodness. But they're lost. So here we are. You get
Here
this
we
job.
are. I get this job. Yep. And I was really good at this job. And it was a means to an end. And I always have to shout out the massage industry because they were the first ones that literally, again, looked at me as, can you do a massage? Are you really good at that? Cool. Like they gave me a chance.
Right.
And they
And
they they are open to people with disabilities.
they only saw your qualities. They didn't look at anything that was negative or what they thought would be negative, which is really a huge message that the world needs to understand and open their eyes to, no pun intended, open their eyes to the qualities and the experience that somebody has. We all have different ways of processing information and expressing ourselves. It doesn't make one better or worse than the other.
Exactly. They looked at me for my capability.
Right. And now you're a CEO. You're an entrepreneur. You're helping more and more people all the time. I want to find out more about iSEE.
Sure. So again, as I was working as a massage therapist, like I said, I'm grateful for that because like I said, it got me what I wanted. I got out on my own, making my way. That's what I wanted. But I also knew that I needed more and there was more that I needed to do. So I started working as an independent living instructor for the blind with North Carolina Service of the Blind. And so I was teaching them life skills, how to cook, how to clean, how to label, all of that. It was a group of us and we all worked together. And a lot of people that I worked with weren't born blind like me. They lost their sight later on in life. So for them, it was terrifying. It was a new world. So that was really giving me the confidence that I needed in myself to keep going and keep doing more work. Well, at that time as well, the iPhone had come out when dinosaurs roamed the earth. I had an iPhone 4 and I was really good with this iPhone 4. I just intuitively got it. And my other blind peers were starting to ask me to teach them how to use their phones. And I realized, I can teach people how to use technology to regain their independence and reconnect with the world around them, especially after losing their sight, because when you have an iPhone and you can see it, it's good. But when you don't see anymore, it's just a glass paperweight until you learn how to use the screen reading software on it. So I did that. And while I was doing that, I realized that part of regaining your independence was also becoming gainfully employed. And a lot of my clients were having the same problems that I was. They would apply for the job and then come in and again, that rejection, they face a lot of that rejection over and over and over again. So
it's exhausting. And believe me, I've applied over the years, decades. I applied, you apply to jobs and you don't always get them. All you need is one sometimes, but it's intimidating, especially someone with a disability.
And they're not going to come out and tell you it's because you're blind, but you know what I'm saying? You know what it is. So by that time, I've been doing this for a while. I was a contractor, like I said, with the state of North Carolina, North Carolina Vision of Services for the Blind. I was one of their top assistive technology trainers. Everybody was sending their people to me, but I realized I needed to evolve more. And then at the same time, around, I don't know, I think it was 2019. Yeah, it was 2019. My sister retired from the corporate space. And she said, Mill, I'm going to join forces with you because, you got this business going. I want to be able to help you. And she is the COO, which means she's the chief of operations. She's a chief operation officer. So she knew how to help operationalize everything because she was in corporate for 15 years. So I was like, well, you know what I want to do? What I'm going to do is I'm going to evolve iSEE Technologies to become the solution, and I'm going to help provide the solution to these corporations. I'm going to go in, I'm going to do the work, I'm going to do the training around inclusion. I'm going to teach these organizations how to be more inclusive of people with disabilities. I'm going to teach them the value of hiring inclusively. I'm going to show you what you're missing when you don't, and how it can help affect your bottom line when you do hire people with disabilities. And from that, we just took off once my sister joined with me. And then from that, then we evolved, and now we are called now a people development firm, because when I was doing all of this and I was speaking and all of that, we realized as well that my sister was really good with the leadership development. And so we started working with the leadership teams on how to manage the stress and things in the workplace as well. So that's how we evolved into people development, because we say people don't stop being people. So your corporation should not stop focusing on developing people.
Right. Especially these days when everything is changing so much. And
Mhm.
yes, things have gotten better. We're at least talking about inclusion,
Mhm.
but we got a long way to go. Right?
Mhm.
And another reason for us to be having this conversation, in addition to your mom.
Oh, yes. And I do a keynote. It's called The Magic of Being Differently Disabled. And like I said, I help to uncover those blind spots that keep organizations from being as inclusive as they should be. And I teach people how they can be inclusion warriors, not just at work, but also in the community around them. And I give them action steps that they can take to do that they can do right then and right there. But I share the story of my mom in that keynote because she played such a major role in who I am and how I am now, how I live my life. So I challenge them and I charge them to be like my mom, where be that learner. Because like I said, back in the 80s, there wasn't any internet. She didn't have access to people, at the click of a mouse. She had to figure it out herself. And now we've got the internet right here on our phones. We carry this around with us all the time.
All the time, all the time. And people can find you because I have a whole list of your social media. Your website is iSeeTechInc.com.
Mhm.
Okay. And then I have all of your Kamille.Richardson.9 on Facebook. And it will all be in my show
All of
notes.
that. Yes.
Yeah, I have it all. And you have a doctorate in humanitarian studies, which I so admire and respect because it adds to all the brilliance of your upbringing and your struggles, if you call them struggles, your challenges in life, which often people say all of the difficult things in life make us stronger. It stinks when you're in the middle of it.
It does
When you're
now.
not seeing the light. And I'm sure you've had many
Ooh, yes.
instances where you just want to put your head under the covers and
Yes.
and yet the sun comes up. I always say the sun comes up every morning. It luckily for us, it's still coming up every morning.
Yes.
But we have to put that step forward. Even sometimes we got to take a step back, but we got to keep moving in the forward direction.
And we do, because otherwise we're going to stay still and stagnant, and I can't do that.
Yeah.
That's just not how I'm wired.
No, you are not. Definitely not. Oh, I'm so happy we got a chance to talk. This has been wonderful. And again, I'll have all the show notes on my Should Have Listened to My Mother page. And Dr. Kamille Richardson, I can't thank you enough for joining us this week.
And I can't thank you enough for having me this week. Thank you so much. This is such a fun conversation.
And I'm going to suggest to my family that we often would do big breakfast parties, especially growing up, where we'd set the table or bring my parents breakfast in bed and stuff. So I love that just the gathering of family and friends is what's the most important thing in life.
Absolutely.
All the other stuff, just nonsense, a lot of it. So we can't let that get in the way.
Absolutely.
Have a wonderful day in North Carolina.
Thank you. You do the same.
And we will be back next week with another episode of Should Have Listened to My Mother.